Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome again to the Agape Livecast. We're going to talk a little bit about 92L, which is our invest in the far eastern Atlantic. What an invest is an area of disturbed weather that the National Hurricane Center has decided to go ahead and take a closer look at. If we take a look at the tropical weather outlook from the Hurricane Center, we see Hurricane Hannah making landfall along the lower Texas coast. We see Gonzalo sitting in the far southeastern Caribbean Sea, and as we talked about a couple of days ago, it has fallen apart. No worries there. It could possibly regenerate down the line, but I'm still not seeing any threat there. The big threat is what we're calling 92L. Right now they're giving it a 20% chance of development for the next 48 hours, a 70% chance of development through 5 days, and I think that's probably a lot higher. I would almost give it a 100% chance, but in weather, there's really no such thing as a 100% chance, except for the fact that it's raining outside right now. If we look at the satellite imagery of 92L in the far eastern Atlantic, you can see it is sitting way out there. It's still at least 5 days away from the islands of the Caribbean, the easternmost islands, but it's very well organized. I can't tell you how well organized this is for this time of year. Cape Verde season usually doesn't get going for another week or two. This is really well organized, but it's because those tropical waters out in the Atlantic are very warm for this time of year. And this is showing all the signs of development. Got a little bit of dry air to the north of it. Some of that Saharan air layer that we've seen in the news is impeding some of its development. It's a little bit dry to the north of it. It seems to be fighting it off fairly well. And as it moves further to the west, it's going to find a little bit moisture environment to work with. So what does the future hold for this? Well, as we look at the track, for the first 5 days, we can see that all the models are pretty much in a unanimous agreement in bringing it towards the central or northern windward and leeward islands, mostly the windward islands. And we're going to really have to watch that. I would imagine they're going to be dealing with a hurricane here in about 5 days. And if we look past that, where's it going on? Where's it going to make landfall? Who's it going to hit? Who's it going to impact after 5 days? Well, it's going to have a date probably with Hispaniola here in about a week. Puerto Rico, Hispaniola. Depending on how it interacts with Hispaniola, and a couple of other things that I'm going to show you, that's really going to impact the future of 92L and where it's going to go. You can see we have a wide range of solutions that are being called for, from all the way pointing it into the Gulf here in about 2 weeks to totally recurving it out into the Atlantic. And there is a good reason for that. This is the 5-day forecast from a couple of different models. The model on the left is one of our global models we use called the GFS, and the model on the right is another global model we use called the European. Both of them are putting an upper level trough off the eastern coast in about 5 days, and that's going to tug this system. As you can see, it's going to be very well developed. It'll be the ice storm, and I'm sorry I have not looked up what the ice storm is, but it will be the ice storm, and it's going to tug this storm up to the north a little bit. You can see the ridge of high pressure is going to keep it on a westward track until it gets to the islands, and there's going to be this weakness. Both of these forecast models are calling for this weakness, but that's when the story changes. On the GFS, you can see on the left, we have a very strong shortwave trough, what we call an upper level shortwave trough. Basically just a bend in the atmosphere coming through Missouri, Arkansas. If you look at what the Europeans calling for, it's really not calling for much. And these shortwave troughs are what break down ridges and allow these systems to turn north. And so that's really what we're going to have to watch over the next week or so. Intensity, pretty much unanimous. All these intensity models that we use are really unanimous in calling for this storm to become a hurricane here in the next 4 or 5 days. So we're going to watch it. it's going to be something that we're definitely going to have to pay attention to. My gut feeling right now is that this is going to be more of a threat probably towards Florida and the East Coast, simply because of the way I see that upper level pattern shaping up. But who knows right now? Things change in the environment. The models have a tendency to overplay upper level troughs this time of year, so we'll just have to watch it. I'll definitely be watching it, making videos on it. Probably not every day, but as we get further down the line, as it becomes a threat to us, I'll definitely be keeping you updated. God bless.